I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
Yes or no? Did you ever take banned substances to enhance your cycling performance?
Yes.
I had no prior knowledge of the planned assault on Nancy Kerrigan.
I am deeply sorry for my irresponsible and selfish behavior I engaged in.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to the pod. We have yet another great episode here. Gallerati, joined by Lynch, two married men, aside a third married man. Wow. This guy, great comedian, very funny, and interesting person, and joining an illustrious group of repeat guests. Andy Haynes, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you. I'm honored to be here.
Welcome to the show, dude. Good to see you.
Thank you for having me back on.
Looking good.
Really nice to see you guys.
Welcome to the couch.
You look like a lot more mature now that you're a married man.
Would you say man?
Yeah. You've jumped up in my, I mean, your legs are still kind of boyish, but that's just because the white. I have the same thing.
Yeah.
Boyish leg.
The inside, little white, little red bumps.
Are you always kind of olive because of the Italiano?
Yeah. Would you consider me currently olive?
Yeah.
Yeah. So then, yeah.
You're very sorry, you're olive.
I'm sort of a lighter olive. I'm capable of getting some color.
That's great.
I don't get red, but I need to sort of ease into it. But
okay.
Yes, this is sort of my complexion.
You're definitely color capable.
You seem like you can't tan very well.
No.
I have to do a burn. I have to do like a first day vacation burn.
Seasonal burn.
And then it sets in. I build a little crust and then I have a tan. But the second I stop, it'll just peel right off.
It used to be unattractive as a kid, amongst kids, to be pale. And I'm seeing now that it's kind of grown to be kind of hot.
Yeah, I think it's like the goth kind of gaunt thing. Like we're a little bit back to like heroin chic,
That 90s
fentanyl
style.
chic,
yes.
And then so I think that has something to do with it because you want to look like you are malnourished, right?
Emaciation.
Yeah, like you don't have all the vitamins you need to sustain yourself.
Yeah. So I've grown to love it. I don't crave getting a tan like I did when I was younger. I used to fight for it, just would always backfire.
I want it bad because I also because I have like a little extra junk on my trunk and it looks a lot better with some color. Mm-hmm. When you're like a couple pounds overweight and you're pale, it's like it's a much rougher look.
So you've been saying this to me for a while now. You don't present as a guy who's carrying weight.
I don't think at least. In general, I think like on the scale of comics, I'm probably in pretty good shape, you know? But when I take off my shirt, nobody would be like, whoa, you know? Like I've always wanted to be like, you take your shirt off and nobody notices it. I think, you know what?
What do you mean? Nobody notices what?
Like.
Anything?
Yeah, I think I would want to look kind of normal. I don't need to look like
neutral.
Mateo or something. But like, okay, you run, right?
A little bit.
So you know when you're running and you see a guy with his shirt off and you're like, he's not fat, but he shouldn't have his shirt off.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
That's where I'm at.
Got it.
Like things would be moving, you know, in a non gratifying way.
Got it.
I tend to gain weight. I think we actually talked about this. I gain weight almost like I think like in a female way. Like it's like my body's punking me where I get it on my hips, my tits, you know?
Same.
And it's just like I'm not stoked on it. But I've been really focused lately. Lots of jogging, lots of kettlebell because we're going to Europe in a couple weeks.
Oh wow, you're going to have to be ready to rock.
Yeah.
Where are you going?
We are going to go to Berlin, London, Amsterdam, and I'm trying to pull off a sneaky Mallorca.
So yeah, without the Mallorca, you're potentially good in your current form. But with Mallorca,
you don't need to take your shirt off in any of those.
Be ready to rock.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So wait, you were a professional skier? Is that something?
So I like shared a post a week ago that they like. I was like a semi-professional skier, and by that I got free stuff to ski, and I like was really good, but not good enough to make a career out of it.
So like good enough to compete in a professional event though?
Yeah.
But like not the Olympics.
Well, there isn't an Olympics for what I did, which was like jumping off cliffs and like doing tricks.
Did you do X Games?
No, I wasn't good enough to go to the X Games. The X Games, like I wanted to get that good at park, but I have a big dumb body, which when you see guys that are really good at flipping and twisting and stuff like that, they're usually like kind of compact. They're more your body type. They're like kind of lean but shorter. Like I'm trying to think of somebody who would like Alex Pavone would actually be a pretty good.
Got it.
Like you want somebody who's like kind of like compact and
But a little, but stout.
yeah, it's like the same thing as gymnasts where you want them to kind of like, it's not like a big lumbering body. So I could do some tricks, but like those guys, they started to do insane things. And now it's like this guy got famous when I was skiing for doing a 1440, which is 4 spins.
Oh yeah, I'm aware from playing pro skater.
Yeah, C.R. Johnson, R.I.P. And
died?
Yeah, like 20 of the people that I
From doing tricks.
he crashed into some rocks, I want to say, but maybe an avalanche.
Like fell into rocks or crashed.
I don't know. Actually, I
You
didn't.
want to look this up?
C.R. Johnson, which sounds like a collective
It's like
crime.
I think like
C.R. Johnson.
I think like literally like 20 people I know from skiing died in the act.
Well, look, it is sort of like the main way that men in our age range get injured. Like anyone who has a cast on their leg either did it from basketball or skiing.
Yeah.
And Des Bishop made the point. He's like, you don't feel bad for the guy who did it skiing.
No.
Because like he's privileged to be skiing.
Skiing's also so expensive. I'm so glad I'm not like in that world anymore because it's literally like I think Park City's $250 a day. When I was a kid, it was like
Crazy.
$26 to ski at my home mountain. Yeah, it's stupid. But I was better than almost anybody that I knew outside of the guys that I skied with.
Got it.
Like I never was the main guy on the mountain. There were some guys that were really good. But like in comedy, like I went skiing with like Ari and Mark, Ian Fidance.
Who's Mark?
Norman. We did this ski trip to Park City last year or 2 years ago, and they were like pretty blown away. Everybody was pretty stoked on Andy's abilities.
Love it.
It was the first time that I had been in that circle of people and been the dominant. It was pretty great.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a lot of things in common, me and you. The way we gain weight, we both sort of are extremely good at a specific sport, and it's like not obvious for a while.
Yeah.
And then we also are sort of now travel content creators.
Yeah, and you have the thing though. I will say you have the advantage, which is that you can pick up a tennis racket and go a block, kind of maybe 2 blocks from here, and show. When I used to want to get laid, if I was not at a mountain, I would have to be like, "You got to come an hour and 45 minutes." You gotta see what I'm
Powder
doing.
Ridge in Connecticut.
So if you have 2 or 3 days off,
hilarious.
we'll go up there and you can watch.
C.R. Johnson.
Another skier landed on him. Traumatic brain injury in Utah, 2005.
Jeez.
Damn, I did not know that one.
Crazy.
I gotta find out who that was. JT Holmes died. Shane McConkey died. Sarah Burke died.
Do you ever have any bad injuries?
I blew out both my knees, and I have a
What does
vertebral.
that mean exactly?
I like
Torn
landed on them
things?
so many times poorly that the cartilage in both knees, the meniscus, which is the cartilage that sits between your
Which one?
femur.
Both
No,
sides?
those are your ligaments. So you have MCL,
those are not
LCL,
meniscus?
and then ACL. And
I thought MCL and meniscus are the same thing.
no,
So what?
meniscus is like the same thing as a disc in your back. It's a piece of cartilage that sits between 2 bones. And then you have your patellar tendon that goes and holds your patella, which is your knee bone on.
Got it.
This one I've had scoped. You can see some scars, which is they had a camera go in there and they shaved some shit off. I've never had this one done. God, I hope this isn't boring, but I've torn all the ligaments beside the ACLs.
Got it.
But the meniscus is the big one because it doesn't heal.
Yes.
The LCL and MCL will heal themselves. ACL, you have to get a surgery.
Yes.
And then I broke this femur when I was 8. So this leg is a 1/4 inch longer than this leg. And then also I've landed so many times on flat surfaces trying to jump, like do like the park in the ski area, that one of my vertebrae is like 3 millimeters poked in, and it kind of pinches some stuff. But I do a lot of stuff for it.
That's good. I have a torn menial meniscus,
Yeah.
the inside one, which I've rehabbed and like never got surgery. I got a cortisone shot, which like fixed it.
Yeah, I need to
Which
do
I know
that
is like
for my back.
uncommon. But I have so the reason why I have not been playing tennis, and I've been talking about that, I haven't talked about it much on the show lately, but I have a disc problem in my neck.
Oh shit,
which
that's
is like
a rough one.
Really bad.
Are you gonna get a surgery?
I don't know, but I'm curious because it's one of those things where anytime I think about getting surgery, I talk to another professional who's like, "Are you out of your fucking mind?"
Yeah, that's.
And then I'm like, "Okay, I won't." And like recently, I was having a flare up, and I was like, "That's it, I can't fucking take it anymore." I made an appointment with a surgeon, and they're like, "You need to upload your images. There's 4 specific ways to do it." And the 4 specific ways were like physically bring them in person, mail them, upload them to this thing, which requires downloading them. There's like 80 images when you do that.
Yeah.
And it was the day before and they hadn't told me. And I'm like, I don't have time to do this right now. And then the 4th one was something else. And I was like, can I just bring my computer? They're like, no, the doctor like can't. I'm like, so the doctor can't see a laptop? And they're like, no. And I was like, all right, well, I'm not fucking coming in. Then cancel my appointments.
That's insane.
So anyway, so that was maybe
you were going to get the surgery.
I was just going to have my first consultation with the surgeon.
Oh, okay.
And my PT, who's at the same place, saw the day before and was like, oh, you're meeting with the surgeon.
Yeah.
Huh. I was like, oh, she's like, you thought you were going to get away with that without telling me? I was like, oh, so anyway, then I was like, all right, I'll just go to a pain specialist again. And now I'm like feeling way better with a week into it. So I was like, maybe I'll just stay the course. But all this is to say, I'm like almost 11 months since it's happened.
Uh-huh.
I can basically do everything except lifting heavy things.
Yeah.
Or like do exercising normally from the waist up.
Yeah.
Which is that a way I want to live? Like maybe not, but they're like, it's going to get better. Just keep doing PT.
Yeah, it's so frustrating. I mean, being injured like that is so frustrating, especially when you can't operate at the like level that you want to.
Dude, it's brutal.
I hurt my back. Like I re-injured my back a lot having sex because it's like in my kind of hip area. I'm not like a Lothario or anything.
But is it like disc related or what?
Yeah, it's a vertebrae that pops in. But I want to get the surgery. But the scary thing about the one that I would get is they'd have to go in through my belly button. And I don't.
What the fuck?
I don't want to do that.
Well, the lower back stuff, a lot of the time you can sort of like do stuff, but is it the same type of thing? It's just kind of nagging.
It's always there. It's not like it doesn't stop me from doing anything. I just feel it when I do stuff.
Yes.
Like it's not even that painful.
It's an adjustment.
But it's just like, it's kind of like I'll go like skiing and then I'll be like, okay, I got to take it easy tomorrow. Like I can't like land on a lot of stuff really hard.
Totally.
Or, I'm also 42. So that's like a pretty good run of like.
Totally.
But like racking my body for 20, I don't know. I started skiing when I was 2. So 40 years. Yeah. It's a pretty good run for only
good
like.
run, dude.
Would they put you under for that surgery? The belly button one?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
For sure. Yeah. That would be, I think it's like probably hours too. And actually, one benefit, I don't know if you guys have had propofol lately. Oh my God. I would get the surgery just for that.
Oh, I think they gave me something when I got my epidural into the neck.
Yeah.
And whatever the fuck they gave me, I was like, you can do anything to me. I like fully understood heroin addiction.
This is like what knocks you out. It's like the knockout stuff. So Michael Jackson used it every night to go to bed. But when you wake up from propofol, you feel like you've had the greatest sleep of your life. Like you wake up, you are on a hospital bed, like on a gurney, you're in whatever your little pajamas, and you feel like you're waking up at the Ritz-Carlton in a king size. Like you're like, oh. Like it's like you could be on the ground and it would feel like that. And then I was immediately flirting with the nurses. Like the nurse came over and checked my vitals, and I was like, "Where are you from?"
Oh well, hello.
Yeah, I was like smooth for the first time in my life. I've actually so like I'm a sober person, so I don't have like a lot of substances, and I had like a throat chest thing like a week ago, and I took Mucinex D every day, and I totally was like, I need to get an Adderall prescription. Like I am the best version of myself. I got one. I'm the best version of myself on.
Wait, Mucinex D like hyped you up?
Because it's got Sudafed in it.
Got it.
And so it's meth. But I was so on point, and like my personality, you were
just sharp.
Yeah, like I'd get like a bad email and I'd just be like, whatever, dude, I got this.
Damn, that's a superpower.
I don't know if that's what Adderall's supposed to do, but I like that this is what it was doing for you.
You should watch the movie Limitless. It's a Bible for
I've seen it.
Adderall
It's great.
addiction.
I rewatched it. I watched it 15 years ago. I just rewatched it a month ago. It really is invigorating.
It makes you want to
Be God.
Yeah, I want Adderall.
It's basically Adderall the movie.
Yeah, it is.
Do you find that you are an ADD person?
Yeah, I totally am. I take something for like ADHD kind of adjacent stuff, like depression, ADHD, but I don't think it does enough because I'm still flipping around.
So apparently Adderall was originally for depression.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And they realized later that like, oh, this is actually great to help people focus, blah, 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 ADD, all that stuff. But I definitely find a relationship between lack of ability to do stuff, which then makes you anxious, which then makes you depressed. So like there is a world where the reason why I like ADD medication is because it makes everything, like it takes away all my anxiety.
Yeah.
Because I'm just in control of my life.
Yeah, that's exactly how I felt this last week. And like, I was just like I was in Vail for this like comedy festival. By the way, shout out Vail Comedy Fest. It was like, it was awesome. I have not done a comedy festival where I didn't have to deal with that many comedians. And I was I went hiking.
The lots of comedians thing can be overwhelming.
Yeah.
I find it to typically be a net positive, but this wasn't like that. This wasn't like 80 comedians.
The perfect amount of people were there and everybody was cool. And then we got to stay in these beautiful hotels, like right at the mountain. And most of the stuff was covered. We got like some swag that was really great. And like I would wake up, breakfast in the hotel, like included, like big omelet bar situation. Amazing. And then like I'd hike like, 5 miles up the mountain, see some snow, look at some birds. I saw some wild turkeys, shit like that. Come back down, do a soak, do a steam. I mean, it was like the dream life. Everybody else that lives in this vicinity. There was a house, like when you walk past a real estate office and they have like their listings in the window. There was like legit a house just in the window amongst many other houses that was $60 million. Wow. And I was like, okay, this is a different group of people. Yeah. There's
some good shit out there. I think I've been maybe driven through Vail one time or something. Is it close to Steamboat?
Steamboat is north. It's like on the way. It's I-70. So you pass Winter Park.
Makes sense.
Breck.
What's the one that's like hard to drive into?
Aspen.
That's sort of like
I think that's A-Basin.
There's some,
But it's a really hard one is Telluride and Crested Butte. Telluride's the hardest because you have to, if you go from Denver, I think it's still like a 4-hour drive. That type of thing. Last night, oh buddy, this is good because me and GIULIO are big scaredy cats in the flying world.
Oh yeah, we are.
And I didn't have as bad as your situation. Got to the airport. I'm also like really good at navigating changing stuff without getting like having to pay. I'm really good at like working the system.
Love it.
So I got on a flight, like I was going to have to go Salt Lake overnight, like red eye to JFK. And I had parked at LaGuardia. So it was like not ideal.
That's a tough switch to get to the different airport.
It was like a last minute ticket I had to buy because I bought for the wrong day. And so I got to the airport and I weaseled my way onto a delayed LaGuardia flight. But when we took off into a pre-tornado.
And it was just like violent.
It was pretty rough. Like they waited 3 hours and I was not in my window seat, which that's like what I do so that I can look out.
He likes the window seat. And it's funny too because I've sat in the vicinity of him during one of these situations and he looks out and he has no expression on his face and I just know what's happening with him.
I just look out.
He's just like, I'm like, no.
The worst is at night. If it's really turbulent at night, I will stick my entire face against the window and I will
to try to see something, right?
If I can see stars and the shape of the clouds, I'm fine.
Agreed.
But I was in the middle. It was super fucking bumpy. Also, every time that I don't get the window, I go to the person in the window and I go, hey, there's no chance you want to like swap this out. Because most people want the aisle over the window.
Well, we're talking in a 2-for sitch.
No,
this is a 3.
3-for.
Was there someone in the middle?
Yes.
Him. No, it wasn't you. You were aisle.
This was crazy. This was so crazy. There was like, it was like a bulkhead. So there wasn't like a normal place to put your bag. So I slid it into this like kind of weird place in front of the middle seat. And the guy sits down and he goes, "Can you move your bag?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, no problem." And I moved it. And then I saw him texting. He goes, "You're not going to believe this." He's right next to me. He's texting, "This asshole, when I'm sit down, has his bag in my..." I was like, I didn't say anything because I was like, I'm on this plane with you for 3 hours. But whoever that Asian guy that worked for Delta Airlines, there's a lot of smoke coming from me.
A lot of smoke. Dude, I know one or two people who are willing to get into a fight about that.
Mm-hmm.
And you know Zach McGovern?
Is it Ricky Velez?
No. I'm trying to think. I think he would rather not be in beef with the person next to him. You know Zach McGovern?
Yeah. How
Comic.
do I know him? Yeah.
Dude, I was following his thing one time. He was in a disagreement with the guy sitting next to him, and he literally had the selfie cam on, and he's going, "This fucking piece of shit right here." And the guy's just kind of like, because Zach's a big guy too.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
He'll throw down. Dude, it was like, and he's not like a guy, he doesn't want to fight, but like he's willing to.
Yeah.
And like,
God bless.
Dude, one weekend he was opening for me, and I think he was like trying to provide value, like as a guy, like coming on the road, whatever. We're old pals. And I was like on my phone texting, and a guy's like walking towards me. I sort of don't see it. And then the guy walking toward me goes, "Watch where you're going, asshole." Zach goes, "What the fuck did you say, motherfucker?" I was like, dude, it's fine. It's fine. Yeah, why don't you say that to my face? Like, he'll do some shit like that. But anyway, I was following along with him being like, and then the guy's sleeping. He's like, "This guy's a fucking bitch." And he's like, he's pretending to sleep right now. It was giving me so much anxiety from 1,000 miles away.
Shout out Zach. I
know.
love people that are willing to do a confrontation. I don't like the psychopathic, like Karen kind of situations.
Agreed.
But like, I think we've really lost like a good fist fight. You know, like you used to be able to get punched in the face and people would go, "Okay, my bad."
Right.
You know, like, whoa, all right, I lost that.
There's just too high of a likelihood that you're being filmed at this point.
Or that somebody has a weapon, or that it's like going to get out of hand.
It's not worth it.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, I would never fight anybody in New York because you never know like what's like. There's that story about the guy bumping into the guy on like, I want to say it was like West 87th. He was just walking down the street, bumped into a guy. He was like, "What the fuck, dude?" The guy put a knife just in his chest. I was like, "That's New York. That's why, like,
yeah, Jesus
you
Christ.
just don't say anything. You go, 'Well, that was great of you to bump into me, sir. Sorry to bum everybody out.'"
No.
You seem like an okay flyer. How are you?
I freak out.
You do?
I think I'm in the same boat as you two. I need somebody, if there's a lot of turbulence, I need everyone else to be chill.
Yeah.
If one other person goes, "Ha!" I'm done.
Yeah.
I need everyone to be brave for me.
I've been on a flight where everybody screamed.
Oh yeah.
That sounds horrible.
Well, it was the one that like I never had flight fear until this. We were coming into Reno, and when you go into Reno, you fly into a canyon and then you turn in the canyon, right? So we're in the canyon turning.
It's no good.
And then I'm used to this approach. I live in Tahoe, so this is my home airport. And all of a sudden, the plane is turning, turns more than sideways.
Top Gun.
No.
Like almost upside down. No. Everybody's like, "Ah." He pulls it together, goes back up. He's like, "Yeah, sorry. We were like turning into like the same place where like a plane was like descending into. Like we were going to just like hit a plane." So I'm glad he didn't hit the plane.
Yeah.
That's no fun.
But ever since then, I think the next like 3 trips I took trains and buses. Long distances, like day-long trains.
Oh my God, dude.
It hits deep. It makes you very religious very quickly if you're not when you're on a plane.
Yeah, we were flying across the country to go to a wedding, and like in the airport, we see there's some really bad weather coming through Arkansas, like just on the Weather Channel.
Yeah.
It's like tornadoes, and then like we get on the flight, and our flight path is just going directly through Arkansas.
Yeah, of course.
So I just have anxiety the entire time. We go through Arkansas. It's super bumpy naturally, but just like, no, I just don't need any extras. Just like, I'll deal with the turbulence if it comes.
You know what I need? This is every time I'm put at ease, if the captain gets on and he gives me a little rundown, like when it's turbulent and they just put on the bell and they're like, "Fasten your seatbelts," and then they just like don't say anything.
Not cool.
Last night the guy goes, "We're gonna take off. It's gonna be pretty bumpy. It's gonna be okay. We're gonna have bumps for the first 20 minutes. We're gonna get up. About an hour into the flight, we're going to hit Chicago. There's going to be a little bit more chop. I'll try to find a smooth ride. I'll update you.
I
Like
appreciate that too.
I need a little hand holding.
Mm-hmm.
Like I could never fly in like Turkey or Russia because I feel like they're just like the plane might crash.
Or they just don't turn the light on at all.
Yeah.
It just happened.
I've had that where I'm just like, what the fuck, dude? Like,
You see that Uzbek crash?
No.
It was like a couple months ago.
Was it the Azal? Was it?
Yeah, I think it was the
They
Azerbaijan.
think they shot it down
Oh, really?
because it was flying over like Chechnya, and I think that like they got confused or something.
Was that a commercial flight?
Yeah, and
It was-
but
I've flown that airline, by the way.
Oh, really?
It's
I
so
almost
nice.
flew that to Bishkek. I almost went to Bishkek on that airline.
Yeah.
But the what was it? The oh God, why did I forget?
Uzbek.
Oh no, when that flight it's the Azerbaijani airline. When it's like going down, like everybody's just like, what's going on? Like there's nobody. Like,
there's like
there's
audio?
video of the like.
Jesus.
There's like video
God, I
of
haven't seen that.
and there's also video after, which it's sad because like people died, but a lot of it, like only I want to say 6 out of 200 or something
really?
like that. It
Interesting.
wasn't a lot.
Maybe we're not
But-
thinking of the same one.
The guy, there's just like they're so Russian. They're just like walking out of the rubble like with like their like bags and leather jackets, just like fuck, like guys like lighting a cigarette. He's like fucking plane crash, and
Shit
just
happens.
he goes to the road.
Dude, oh my God. Insane.
You've done that. See, that's like the number one place I want to go is the stands.
Oh yeah, I haven't really, dude. I haven't really been to. I don't think Afghanistan is like when you say the stands. I don't know that people include it. So you did not end up going to Bishkek?
No, so okay, so my very first iteration of this web series that I'm doing,
Yes.
I flew to Iceland to get. I was gonna fly to Stockholm to get this. It's actually funny because I have a zit today. I still use it. It's like a chapstick that has that goes over a zit and it makes it invisible. Like it matches your skin tone, and then it also has like medicine in it. But I've never seen it in the United States. I've just seen like male makeup or whatever. But there's this one pharmacy in Stockholm that sells it. Right,
Iceland or Sweden?
Sweden.
Got it.
But I got a flight through Iceland. It was called like WOW Air. It's
Yeah,
like one of
yeah.
those like defunct. And I flew from LA to Iceland, and then I was going to go to Stockholm. But when I was planning this trip, I was like, I wonder how much it would be to like just keep going.
Oh yeah.
And so I found Stockholm to Turkey for like nothing. And then I found Turkey to Bishkek for nothing. And then I found Bishkek to home, but you had to go through a Urumqi, which is like Xinjiang.
Yeah.
It wasn't home. It was like to Shanghai and then another. But I was going to circumnavigate the world in one trip. I was never going to spend more than like 8 hours one place. And it was going to take a total, I think, of 30 hours or something like that. Like I was going to just fly around the entire world. And
Magellan.
you can't go into that part of China. I found out.
Interesting.
That's why the trip fell apart. So I ended up going, and then like in that first iteration of it, I land in Iceland, and my agent calls me and tells me I have a callback for a commercial. And so
This exists? This is online?
yeah, I didn't really know the internet. I just put it up. Like I never knew how to like do that stuff, like soft rollouts and previews and things like that. I just did stuff and was like, why isn't it viral? But the idea always kind of stayed with me because I always liked the idea of kind of a comedic, like I'm very much like in your lane where like I do really want to travel. I think travel is like one of the most kind of like not only fulfilling and like, well, I think the one biggest thing about travel that a lot of people don't realize is that you go someplace so different that it really shows you what is consistent about yourself. You know what I
agree
mean?
with that.
Or like
Agreed.
consistent about the things in your life. And also, I think the greatest lesson you take from it is that you see how normal everything else is. Like, you know, like people might live in tents and they might do this, but they still eat dinner like this and they still complain and
And they still like have a value system that's like pretty much more similar to yours than you thought.
And also, most of the world is so much more welcoming than the United States. Like most places you go, like in Brazil, I swear to God, I couldn't walk like 10 feet in Brazil without somebody being like, American, what are you doing? Come to our house. You know, like I went to like 4 or 5 different like events because people were just like approached me on the street, and I was I was stoned at the time because I was also a pothead back then. But I like had these amazing nights because I just said, yeah, let's go.
Yeah. Dude, I love it.
I bought weed off these Like I brought edibles down because I was too scared and I couldn't find people. Like people smoked me out a couple times. By the way, I don't smoke pot anymore. I don't condone it. But it's actually so cool, but I don't smoke it anymore because I can't do anything that makes me feel good because I'll just do it every second of my life. But I'm buying pot because I'm out of these edibles and I'm in Rio and there's these fan fests for the World Cups where it means they just like.
Did you go to the World Cup?
Yeah. I went to Argentina, Belgium, 2014.
Sick.
But I flew a red eye to that and I took an edible and halfway through the game, I fell asleep because I was on zero sleep on an edible. And I was like, I just spent $1,700 on this ticket. I cannot fucking fall asleep.
Hate to see it.
But, so I'm like looking for pot and I see these kids in the fan fest. They're like probably 15 and they're smoking weed and they're like kids from the favelas. Like they're like kind of like just wearing shorts and no, like maybe like really cheap flip flops. And you can tell they're like kind of from the hood. And, I walk up, I don't speak Portuguese and I'm like, Mota, compare, like trying to like remember what the Portuguese conjugation of the Spanish that I do speak Spanish. And they look at me and I can tell in their eyes, they're kind of like, should we rob this guy? Because he's about to just pull out money. And they were like, yeah, all right, we'll sell you some weed. And so I give them whatever reals and the girl with them lifts up her tit and pulls out the bag of weed. And it was so funny.
Under the tit.
Yeah, it was like, just like,
oh, there you go.
Sitting there. And
very Brazilian.
And then
sounding.
that was the game. I rolled a joint, I smoked some weed. And that was the game where Germany beat Brazil by, I think it was 7-1.
Wait, but I thought it was Belgium.
No, this is, I'm just watching on the beach.
Got
I'm
it.
not at the game now. This is a couple days later. And the Brazilians started losing their mind and like a riot started.
I'm sure. Yeah.
And I had to run back to my hotel room. But luckily I had a Brazil jersey on. So I just looked like one of those
nice. You're like,
like
I'm
Giselle
one of you.
Bundchen, like German German immigrants, you know.
Dude, I love it all. Well, so first of all, I think you can, I don't know if it was different then.
Is this okay?
You can go to Xinjiang now.
It was for a long time with the Uyghurs. This was like right after. Do you remember the Uyghur revolt?
Like not like unspecifically, but so this was during a time where you could not. It's essentially what you're
You
saying.
could go, but you had to go to the consulate and you had to like get a thing,
special
and you
visa.
had to have like because it's the Silk Road, so there's a lot of tourism that does go through that part. But they were like, the Chinese embassy was like, no, and I was like, I'm gonna be there for like 12 hours, and they were like, no,
dude.
like give us your name. Well, you're not allowed, you know, like. And then I
You
called
are
the
never
airline
allowed.
and I was like, what happens if I just like go? And they're like, we won't let you on the plane without the thing.
Oh, yeah,
and I was like, okay.
Fair enough.
And so then I just did the dumb thing. I also had a TV show at that time for Jash where it was a fake after show for young Sheldon. Remember like Talking Dead and that? So I had it was called After Sheldon. And when I was in Reykjavik, I just walked around asking people if they were excited about the new season of Young Sheldon.
They're like, what?
And everybody was like, what? Like so many people were like, what? And then it was so funny because this one guy, he was like a punk rocker working on a car. And I go up and I go, are you excited about the new season of Young Sheldon? He goes, you know, I am not very excited. It seems very commercial. It seems to deviate from the Big Bang Theory world. And I was just like,
Wow.
all right, I guess you have like a VPN or something.
Yeah, don't judge a book by its cover.
Yeah.
Well, dude, I want to hear. So you have this new episode coming out. That you
Yeah, I would
shot.
say
It
it's the
sounded
beginning.
Pretty ambitious.
It's the new start. It's called Around the World in Andy Haynes.
Love it.
Play on Around the World in 80 Days.
Love it.
And basically, I mean, like a little BTS is that it's like kind of comedic, not sketches, but there's like a comedic kind of narrative to every episode. And it's, you know, a little bit fantasy, I don't know, scripted, I guess, but we don't write scripts or anything.
So you have an idea of what's going to happen, and then you kind of just use whatever actually does happen to help create that. Because you showed me some stuff, and it looked pretty cool. I mean, you spent time doing some sort of ritual.
Yeah, I went to get blessed by. So when I was
This is Guatemala, right?
20, I lived in Guatemala for 6 months, and I lived in this little village on Lake Atitlán, which a lot of people have been to. It's like pretty touristy now, but it's all Mayan.
It's a very big lake, right?
Yeah, it's like, I think it's
one of the biggest
of the biggest lakes in the world. It's so beautiful. It's like one of the most beautiful places on earth. And I lived up there for a long time, and there's this deity that they worship in this village, which I don't know if you guys know much about, like Catholicism's kind of absorption into indigenous cultures. This sounds so up my ass, but a lot of times Catholic, kind of like when Catholicism is introduced to like an indigenous religion, most of them were polytheistic, right? So they would have like an animal god, multiple animal gods or elemental gods and things like this. And so they would kind of attribute the character of that god into a saint, right? Mm-hmm. So like, whatever it was, like, let's say it's this isn't true, but like the raven or whatever in like American indigenous culture, they might give that to like literally like a Saint Peter, and Saint Peter kind of like their version of Saint Peter is this trickster raven god. Got it. But theirs is Mashimon, which is Saint Maximilian or something. I don't know what his real like Italian name is, but he's like a drunk, smoking, debaucherous, like
nice.
Like he's like just he's like a barfly, like, and I go into this. I've been there before, but it was not like this when I went the last time, because they move it. It's secretly held in one part of this little village called Santiago de Atitlán, and they hide it every year. They move it around so that it's not like just open to the public kind of thing. It's also kind of like a secret society little thing. But you go into this room and it's completely adorned with like all of this insane, like, you know, like skeleton in a glass coffin, like a real skeleton. And then like pictures all over the wall, these like floral streamers and stuff like this. But everybody in the room is blotto drunk. Like when I go to the priest, he's fucking wasted. And I think it must have something to do with like this version of the god. That you like drink as kind of like penance. I remember the last time I went, I brought him cigarettes. Nice. But they like put a cigarette he's like a wooden kind of like statue.
They put it in the god?
And yeah, I put it in his mouth. And wow. But I asked for a blessing and I gave them some money and they blessed me. But the funny thing is that right next to me, I don't know, because they speak Zutuhil Mayan, which is like it's like a very old indigenous language. Like it sounds like this, like chuk ana. Like that's it's like
hard to say.
Yeah, I'm not even doing it right. It's like nah, like that kind of thing. But there was a couple with their mother, and they were getting blessed at the same time. I think for like some kind of fertility thing, but they just like stopped their procession. They were like, "There's a gringo here with money. Hold on one second." And I felt kind of like, oh, I'm a dick for this, but they're letting me film and all that, and
whatever.
You know, I think they're all kind of scammers too. Like they kind of enjoy the grift. So they were like, yeah, give us your money. We'll bless you. And
it's a completely fair exchange, because you get to see this sick thing. Like it's fine.
Yeah. And
there's nothing icky about it to me.
I like doing that real shit. Like, I think that's what I love about your shows is that like, I don't like a lot of the kind of like travel vlog guys who are like there's that one crew that's like so positive. They're like, they must be Christian. They have to be Christian the way they like, you know what I mean? Like we're all kind of Christian probably, but you know what I mean?
For yourself.
You know what I mean? Like these guys are like probably go to church Christians, and they're like, we're here in Turkmenistan, the Hermit Kingdom.
Oh, are you talking about Yes Theory?
Yeah.
I don't come off as Christian to me. That's hilarious though.
They come off as, I'm from Seattle. There's a lot of Christians that like cosplay as like outdoorsy types.
Like dude perfect energy.
Yeah. It's like dude perfect energy. And then you get like, you know, like I used to work at the ski company called Evo. It's like one of the largest like ski distributors in the world. And we'd like have these all hands, and like the owner of the company was a professional skier. And he'd be like, all right, we've had sick numbers this year. Everything is going, you know, like, and like, there'd be like breakdancing classes at like the, like all hands and shit like that. It was a great company to work for. But then he'd like stop and he'd be like, and if anybody wants to come in real quick, we're just going to pray. And I'd be like, fuck, man, what are you doing? This is weird.
Virginity is cool. Come on. Have you seen that?
It was that kind of thing. But they were great to me. I was a not a great employee for almost all of my jobs, but
you have a lot of I used to do this that are all insane. By the way, you've hit us with like a solid amount already.
Yeah, I'm kind of all over the map. I wasn't gonna be a comic. I majored in religion, and I was gonna.
So you were a secret religious person too?
No, I just was interested. I like the travel stuff. I'm very interested in like things that are contiguous throughout cultures. Like, like everybody's got a religion. So I thought that was a really interesting vein to kind of like look at the world at. And I actually majored in like I focused on sectarianism, which is like Israel, Palestine, Northern Ireland, Sri Lanka, Iraq and Iran are a little bit in that kind of vein. Central America, very much like where people have different religions and they do not get along because of it, that kind of thing. Right.
Very cool.
But I was going to go to Yale Divinity and try to go into academia, and then I started doing comedy, and it ruined my life.
I love it, dude. Crazy. Cool. So this is coming out. When is this going to be out?
I think July 1st is the date I'm aiming for. It's going to be on my YouTube. I'll do a lot of previewing it on, all my channels, but the longer thing is going to live on YouTube. And I'm setting up a Patreon. The most important thing is I'm setting up a Patreon because we want to, have people who are interested in it kind of like decide where we go next, and then also help us get there,
Love it.
Yeah, my two top choices right now are Greenland, just because there's a direct flight from Newark starting this summer.
Interesting.
And it's expensive.
Is it seasonal?
Yeah. And it's $1,000 for like a 3-hour flight.
Greenland flights, yeah. I've been kind of scoping them out.
You have to go to Iceland. That's the only way if you don't go through Newark. There might be a Canadian direct, but there is not. I'm almost positive there's not a North American direct other than Newark or chartering. And so you have to fly to Iceland, and then you have to get on Greenland Air, go back, and the Greenland Air flight, it looks
crazy.
It's like one of those like it almost looks like one of those planes that you like skydive out of. Like I was like, I don't want to get on that fucking plane, especially over like the northern Arctic Ocean.
So how do you feel about little planes?
Okay, so this is like a real flawed logic. When I sit in first class, not very scared, even with bumps. I'm kind of like,
agreed.
Rich people don't die.
Yeah, and it's just gonna feel better.
Yeah,
this turbulence feels better in the bigger seat.
I got a big seat. They're bringing me stuff. They're like catering to my needs. There's only 2 seats, so there's no way I'm in the middle.
There's an eject button.
Yeah, there's a parachute. And then I've been on a couple privates, only with Tim Dillon. Thank you for bringing me on the road for that year that you did that. Those were a little scary, but your like shoes are off and they're bringing you drinks. So it's that same kind of logic. You're like, even though those things do go down all the time.
More so it seems than commercial.
But did you know this? This is the craziest thing about private jets is private jets get 40 to 60K
they go higher.
So they actually get smoother air. Like that's how much easier rich people have it. They get to have better air.
Yeah, there was there was a hurricane and a flight drove directly over it, but it was a private jet. So it was like way up.
Yeah, you can just you can just do that shit. And it like the cockpit's open too. So you can be like, hey, what's going on up there? Why are we bumping? Yeah. They usually like when I flew Schenectady to Teterboro with Tim, and like when we got on the plane, they'd gotten us dinner at like a local restaurant. And it was like all set up, and we took off, and it's very nice. Now, so like last year, I'm on these like private jets with Tim, and I'm really feeling myself. I'm like, I've made it, even though
Daddy has made it.
The only thing I've done is asked Tim if I can open for him. But it feels pretty good. You kind of feel like you're kind of like, I get entourage. Like I get being in the entourage. I get how you go, my dream isn't going to do it. Let's lean into this.
You're like, I'm going to be the best friend to him I can possibly be.
Yeah, I'm going to be so invaluable and so cool.
Hey man, if there's anything else you need me to do.
Yeah, if you want me to just like run some errands. But so you fly into FBOs, right? FBOs are, I don't know what they're called, like what that stands for, but FBO is like the kind of shorthand for a private airport.
Got it.
Teterboro is an FBO.
Right. But even some commercial airports have them as well.
Yeah, like LaGuardia has an FBO like on the side of it.
San Francisco does.
Yeah, like
actually, it might be Oakland. I don't know.
I think JFK is just two. It's like the second
crazy.
most popular. I think it's
Westchester probably has it.
Westchester. I think like mainly is FBOs.
Fixed-based operator.
Yeah.
Thank you, Lynch.
Thank you, brother.
Of certainty.
But so my father-in-law, who is a wealthy man,
Bless his heart.
invites me to a fishing trip with all his friends in the Bahamas. And, you know, this is like former Secretary of the Treasury, like the owner of Brooks Running. Like
Deep
it's
state
like
situation.
yeah, like guys that have done some gnarly shit. But I'm assuming, because he goes, just meet me at this FBO. That's all you got to do. You pay for your flights, but you meet me at this FBO and the rest's on me, kind of thing. And I go to Tim, I go, I'm going to the FBO. And he's like, have fun. Because he likes the whole private jet culture.
This is Tim Dillon we're talking about now? Yeah.
And I get to the FBO and they're like, oh, you're not here. Like you're next door. And I go into this next hangar and it is just this little operator that flies to this little island, South Andros Island. And they're like, all right, you guys ready to go? And we walk out and it is the most 87 Buick looking Cessna I've ever seen in my life. And I'm telling you, like, I have pictures of it. You can open the door like a car. You can just you can roll down the window like a car.
Yeah.
And luckily when we flew out, not very there wasn't a lot of weather. But I mean, when
you can't fly in those if there is, right?
No. I mean, some people, there's probably ways around it. Cause when we flew back, there was a little weather and it wasn't too bad, but it's just like you hit a cloud, you know, and like, the plane slows down when it hits the cloud. It's like, right. I don't feel great about those. Mm-hmm. My mother-in-law lives in Rockland, Maine, which is like up on the kind of like 2 hours east of Portland, Maine. And if you want to fly there, there's a commercial airline that flies there. It's called Cape Air. Everybody who
I've flown on it.
Yeah, you've probably.
It goes to Nantucket.
Yeah, I think the Nantucket plane is actually a better plane. I think it's not too bad. This is the tiniest Cessna in the world. And one time the first time I ever flew it, I was like, didn't really know what the deal was. And I was flying from London and I got all of the flights on the Delta like ticket, right? So I buy I get on the fucking giant intercontinental plane and I think I got Delta One. I got like boosted because I was Diamond that year, and we land in Boston and they're like, okay, your next flight is in this other terminal. And I'm like, all right. So I go over there and they're like, okay, when you check in, they go, okay, step on the scale. We have to weigh you.
Oh yeah.
Oh, no.
I know those.
Yeah. And then
Tough.
it was like, you know, like just any kind of wind, the whole plane is just like, and I was my dog was scared. That's how like my dog usually on the plane is like, whatever. My dog was like, what the fuck is going on?
The one good thing about those little guys is like, I think that they can go down and like, you can be fine.
They also don't like if the engine dies, they can kind of like coast a lot better.
Down. Interesting.
Yeah. When you are on I've talked to a pilot on the big jets. I talk to all the pilots on the big jets. I'm always like, what's going on? What's this about? But they said that those can glide, like, but I don't think they can glide like well. Like I think like a Cessna can kind of like
right.
pump it and kind of make it flat. I think when those
and it
jets
can kind of land wherever too.
Yeah, like water, pretty beach, highway, you know,
pretty places to crash.
Yeah.
This plane that my Alaska video, which you guys should watch, which is out now. The plane that I fly in that is like the smallest one I've ever been in. And
is that the one in Florida?
No, the one in Florida, that plane is like way bigger than this one.
Okay.
I was flying around in the national parks in Alaska.
Oh, I've been on those planes, the bush pilots.
Dude, like I was in the back, like there's, 4 seats, but we were delivering the mail. So like there was only 3 because like all the mail needed to like take up because it was just tiny.
Yeah.
And dude, my head was like against the roof of the plane.
Yeah.
And if I put the headphones on, like I wouldn't have fit. Like I had to put them down behind my ears or I would not have fit into the plane. That's how small this plane was.
Those are terrifying. I've been on those I flew to McCarthy, Alaska.
Oh yeah, same.
Yeah. And
exact thing.
my friend's family was the homesteaders for McCarthy. So they have like 500 acres there.
Interesting. I wonder
spent,
if
like-
they're related to these people in this video I just made.
They definitely know them. It's like that kind of
That's
place.
a dude. Yeah. Sick. It's a cool town.
Shout out
right?
Zach Barrett. Thank you for exposing me to that world. But for my 18th birthday, because I celebrated it up there, they got me like a local bush pilot to take me on like a tour. Cool. And I mean, these guys are such badasses. If you don't know, the bush pilots, their planes are usually outfitted to land on water, snow, riverbed. Like they kind of have these like convertible bases. I don't know what you would call them, like wheels.
They're almost like skis too.
They have like skis, wheels, and flotation things. But so he took me up, and he's like going around this glacier, and then he's like, watch this, and he starts flying up the mountain. And he's flying, and he's getting closer and closer to the ground, and we're like getting close to the peak. And the second we hit the ridge, the other side of the mountain is not there.
Oh, crazy.
You know what I mean? Like, so it's just like a 4,000 foot drop all of a sudden. It was pretty fucking terrifying.
That's gnarly.
Yeah.
That's gnarly. And I think that the, second, third, fourth biggest peaks in America are all in that, on that route.
Yeah. It's pretty gnarly. I was hiking up there that same trip, and we had this guy, Leaf was our guide. And we were like, to do it safely, or like however he wanted to do it, we left at 3 a.m. so that we would like hit base camp at an appropriate time. And so we're on zero sleep, and we get up over this ridge, and we're kind of coming down this, what scree is? It's like flat rock.
And is it like light at all at this point?
It's light all the time because it's Alaska. And we're going down the scree field, and he goes, stop right now. And he like gets us off the scree field, and like kind of brings us over to this like rock crop, and like we hide behind the rock crop. And the whole time I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And he like points across, and on the other side of the valley, like 5 miles away, he's like, look, it's a grizzly. And he's like, if that grizzly sees us, it can be here in 40 minutes.
Crazy.
And like, we won't be able to get away faster than it can run 40 miles an hour uphill.
Yeah, they're so fast.
So
Jesus
we
Christ.
hid out for a while, and then went down and slept in a cabin that the grizzly easily could have gotten into. Those dudes are so crazy up there. I shot a 454 Cassell. Do you know what that is? It's like the largest ammunition handgun. And they specifically have them because like a 45 won't penetrate a bear's brain. Like its skull is too thick. So the 45 you'll see bears.
Well, don't they not usually come after humans though? Does it just depend?
I don't know. I mean, they're pretty, like, they don't fuck around up there. Like if they see the bear, they shoot, kind of thing. Like in town, kind of. I saw a couple dead bears when I was up there.
Jeez.
And they have a barbecue, which is pretty crazy.
Oh my God, that's crazy.
But you'll see bears in the wild that have been shot with regular munition handguns, and they'll have scars that go like this because the bullet will hit their forehead and just
ride over them.
Just ride over. And
that thick.
Surfing.
Yeah, it's like their skull just is too thick for like a 357 or something. But the 454 is 7 pounds. The gun itself without the weight is 7 pounds. And when you shoot it, it's like I can't even, it's like
Jesus Christ.
all my strength and still just like above my head. Like there's no way you could have a shootout with this thing. Like you'd get shot so quick if you didn't.
That's crazy, bro. Jesus.
Yeah.
Wild, man.
It's pretty fun to be a boy, I will say that. I know that girls do cool stuff, but it's just so fun to do some dumb boy stuff sometimes, like shoot a gun at a glacier.
Shit, fly around, escape from bears, get wasted with holy men.
Yeah, all that shit.
So what's on your radar for where you want to do your next episodes? Have you figured it out?
So I said Greenland was like one of them, but the real one that I really, really want to do is I want to do Senegal for this, I forgot what it's called, something wrestling. It's like this wrestling that they do there. And it's like they do it in like stadiums. You should look it up. It's like look up Senegalese wrestling. It's like these giant men, and they're like punching and slapping. Sick. And like there's like 20,000 people watching it. Just type Senegalese wrestling.
Sick.
And kind of the point of all my trips is I think that eventually I would do more kind of ambitious. Yeah, it's insane. It's their national sport.
That's awesome.
But dude, it's It's like in a soccer stadium, and the
Intimidating.
guys are like giants. But kind of the point of a lot of the trips is, so I did Guatemala in, I think it was 4 days technically, but travel on each of those days. And Senegal, like I want to do trips where I can leave New York on a Thursday and be back on Monday morning kind of thing. So like that's part of what I'm trying to do is like, how far can I get on a weekend? So to show people kind of like what you can do with a weekend.
That's cool.
So Senegal is like, you know, West Africa is a quick red eye. It's the same as Europe. Nobody thinks about that, but it's like Senegal's the same as flying to France.
Interesting.
Same with Morocco. I'd love to go to the stands. Like I said, that is not a weekend trip. That's like a 2-day. I think you have to go through the same places you have to go to Afghanistan.
Over.
You got to go to Abu Dhabi or Istanbul. And then, you know, I'm kind of trying to like always find things in the trips that are like goals or like kind of like, I don't want to just go to the country and like pop around. I want to like go to see the thing. Like if I go to Senegal, most Senegalese people are a branch, like a sect of Islam called Mouridiyas, and they worship a guy named Sheikh Amadou Bamba. And Mouridiyas are actually all over New York. If you see a guy selling purses on the street in New York, there's a good likelihood he's a Senegalese Mouridia. And if you ask him, he can show you. He'll have like a little leather pouch, and the leather pouch usually has a picture of Sheikh Amadou Bamba on it. But Sheikh Amadou Bamba has a tomb in, I think it's Touba is the name of the city, Touba. And I'd love to go there to see his
Nice.
Touba. And they pray towards Touba.
Cool.
They don't pray towards Mecca.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
cool.
so I'm always interested in kind of the mystical and also
tying in with the original major.
yes, and also it being kind of dumb, kind of being a dumb like insanely ambitious journey for the amount of time I'm giving it.
Right.
So
Awesome, dude. Well,
yeah.
dude, I'm excited to watch it. I gotta check out the Iceland one. I don't think I've seen it yet.
It's like the
Beta.
the beta exactly. It's
Awesome.
funny, but it's not quite what we're doing now.
Fuck yeah. Well, guys, July 1st, check that out. And stay tuned. Where can they follow you?
It's just I'm Andy Haynes, except it's Andy Haynes on YouTube, but I'm Andy Haynes on all the other things. And I'm on Punch Up Live too. So if you want to come see me do stand up, kind of a quiet summer. I kind of took the summer off to rewrite. So I'll be around, but it's going to be like minimal.
Sick.
Yeah.
Yeah. Check him out. Check me out, not Julio. Check out my Alaska video, Patreon as well. Get in there.
Are you going to PR this summer?
No, I don't think so. I wanted to, but it may just like not work out.
Do you want me to talk to Marcelo?
Is he on for those concerts?
I think he's going to like 5 nights or
Really?
something like that. Yeah.
Oh, maybe I should see what he's doing. I think I want to try to go to when he goes to South America.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about maybe going down there. We're talking about Bad Bunny. But yeah, I want to go check that out at some point.
Have you guys ever seen the like footage of the concerts in South America where it'll be like Guns N' Roses now, and they'll play for like 200,000 people in Buenos Aires?
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. I've seen, and Bad Bunny says that his Buenos Aires show is like insane.
Yeah.
So like that could be fun. I've never been there.
It seems like a logistical nightmare to be a fan at one of those.
Yeah.
It seems like that probably like Travis Scott concert stuff happens and nobody even reports it. They're like, yeah, of course 3 people are going to die.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that seemed like it was something that was more commonplace than it was being made out to be.
Yeah.
That'll happen. But anyway, and then when is this coming out? I'm going to be in Nashville, probably actually before Boston too. I'm going to be in Boston with Lynch. Danny Palmer will be with us too. That's on the 12th, Laugh Boston. 20th, 21st, I'm in Zany's Nashville. Then I have Charlotte, New York, St. Pete, Houston, all coming up now.
Coastal Creative. Shout out Coastal Creative.
Yep. And Lynch, what's up? What's going on?
Yeah, it'll be with GIULIO June 12th in Boston. Come out. Check me out at Ryan is Really Polite. And then Steam Room Etiquette. We have another improv show on June 25th. So link in my bio for tickets. And then, Andy, do you have anything that you want people to comment that have listened this far into the YouTube version of the episode?
To comment?
Anything. Just like a pop quiz. Like, you listen this far. It could be the most random thing ever. What would you like people to comment?
Tell me your like your mystical journeys. Where would your pilgrimage be to?
Love it.
Sweet.